Welcome back, everybody, into the flow. ah, the flow of your life, the flow of this moment, the flow of love, the flow of peace, the flow of joy, the flow of belonging to yourself and to the world. Today, I'm coming in my 10 o'clock talk to talk about overcoming the feeling of no one cares about me. But before I talk about overcoming the feeling of no one cares about me, I want to read a blessing that you can say over yourself that will change your life dramatically. I'm also eyeing my coffee down here because it is part of my herbal support. And so we're going to do this I love myself affirmation to start, and then we're going to dive a bit deeper into overcoming the feeling of no one cares about me, which is a very common feeling. All right. Oh my goodness, thank you to my coffee sponsors. Terra Priolo Studio, the Get Down Coffee Co., Focal Point Coffee Roasters out of Minnesota. Thank you for the coffee. And thank you, Angie, for the coffee cup, the ridiculous coffee cup. And happy birthday. Happy birthday. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and it radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself. Therefore, I take loving care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing foods and beverages. I lovingly groom it and dress it, and my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy. I love myself. Therefore, I provide for myself a comfortable home, one that fills all my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the rooms with the vibration of love so that all who enter, myself included, will feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself, therefore I work at a job I truly enjoy doing, one that uses my creative talents and abilities working with and for people I love and who love me, and earning a good income. I love myself, therefore I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself, therefore I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I am free. I really am. I love myself, therefore I live totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good and knowing that my future is what? Bright and joyous and secure. For I am a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me now and forevermore, and so it is. That is the I love myself affirmation from You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Sage always. Sage always for the heart. All right, so today we're going to talk about overcoming the feeling of no one cares about me. And hopefully this talk is engaging and supportive and insightful for you. And yeah, let me just start off by introducing myself. I'm Dr. Flo. I'm an online coach and mentor. I'm also an advisor to small to medium-sized businesses that want to grow and tell the stories of themselves and what they seek to give to the world. I help bold dreamers follow their bliss. Every day of my life, I help bold dreamers follow their bliss. And it's a thrill to do it. And listen, I have an acting background and a performance background, and nothing says no one cares about me than being passed over in auditions every day. And shout out to all of those musicians and creatives and anyone, because I believe everyone can be a creative. Shout out to everybody who is out there, putting their best foot forward to be seen and recognized in what they do. It's a big deal. And the story that comes to mind as we start into this is auditioning for shows in New York City. And in auditioning for those shows, I would spend hours of the day just sitting on the floor waiting for my number to be called. And one day after auditioning with hundreds of other people, we get into a room, they decide who they want to keep. They call it typing out. So they're like, look, we're gonna keep 15, 25, 32, 45. We're gonna keep all of these, those people, and then everyone else can go. And this happens every day in Broadway spaces and musical theater spaces and performance spaces and entertainment spaces. We're keeping 5 out of hundreds. Everyone else can go. And then something happened that day that changed my forever view on the work I did and the ways in which I was putting my creativity forward in the world. And what changed that day, or what happened that day that changed my view, was that the casting director came out and said, all right, y'all are leaving. If you want to keep your headshots to try again sometime, here. And literally threw our life's work in paper form. Of course, it was on a piece of paper. And our faces just across the table. I'll never forget the view of seeing all of those careers. All of that pregnant with possibility, opportunity. All of that just being thrown across the table. And that day I was like, wow, they really don't care about us. And that's a real feeling, to feel overlooked or discarded or disregarded, or not appreciated for all of the effort you put in. It's important to know that these feelings are not uncommon. And many, many, many humans experience these kinds of feelings. These feelings happen especially in moments of loneliness, rejection, and stress. Listen, I lived in a city of 9 million people for 10 years, and there were times where I felt extremely lonely. I cannot explain it to you. It's this crazy phenomenon. We got 7 billion people on the planet. I lived in New York City for 10 years full time as a performer, and there were 9 million there. I live in a town now, taking the quiet life for a moment before tour, of, I think there's like 15,000 people here or something. And yet you see and you hear of extreme loneliness. We're surrounded by people. We have apps full of people in social media. And yet, loneliness has never The feelings of loneliness have never been higher. The feelings of rejection, mostly coming from internal and then being projected into the world, all-time high. And stress is up as we overwhelm ourselves every day with the bombardment of news and details and facts and figures. The stress we acquire in our lives from bothering ourselves every day, all day. And so the feeling of no one cares about me is so common because of that stress alone. Am I shouting into the wilderness, the darkness of my phone, and is there echo coming back? If you're just now joining my 10 o'clock talk, today we're talking about overcoming the feelings of no one cares about me. A very common feeling. So hopefully in this talk, we're going to shift that sense of isolation that we can all feel from time to time into a place of hope and purpose and connection. Okay? And I cannot overemphasize in this morning's talk that there is a universality to feeling uncared for. Like, this is a very common thing. You're not going to see any commercials on TV about it, but it's really common. This feeling of being uncared for. Okay, so it's human to feel these feelings. Let's talk about a bit of, where it comes from in this introduction. The feeling of no one cares about me can often come from social isolation. Social isolation happens in many forms. It can be you being the outlier in your family. It could be you having a different political view than your family and friends. It could be you choosing to love differently, or it could be just the way you dress. I've seen this, just the way you present yourself, right, has a positive or negative reflection on others. Internal self-esteem situation, you got to remember, like, I hung out for many years with the New York fashion crowd. And if you don't present a certain look and a certain appeal and a certain facade, you can go into a space of social isolation. Comparison culture will also do it. We see in our community behind the scenes all the time that comparison is the thief of joy. And comparison culture will make you feel like no one cares about you, especially now that they're putting everybody's view counts. So then you go, 45 people care about what Susie has to say, but only 2 care about me. Only 3 people care about what I have to say, but 3 million care about what Beyonce has to say, right? That comparison culture will plague us and poison us. Also, having unhealthy expectations. I've been talking all week about this. Having unhealthy expectations towards other people and the situations of your life can make you feel like no one cares. Okay? If you reference the recent studies, you will find that the rates of loneliness in modern society have increased. Surrounded by all this technology, and we are fighting for our lives to not feel lonely. But listen, there's good news today. There's good news today. The feeling of no one cares about me does not define your worth or the truth about your life. Not in any way. Not in any way. Let's talk a bit in part 1 about understanding the roots of this feeling that no one cares about me, which is the root of so much discontent and horrible feelings. Like, I mean, when I was bothering myself a few months ago, full-time job, bothering myself. When I was doing that, a lot of it was no one cares about me and my feelings and my dreams and my mission. No one sees me. I'm invisible, which we know is a cognitive distortion, but it's still real for a lot of people. I cannot gather a crowd around this message, but this is the thing that if we actually heal this, then we'll be free. But I'm gonna be free first. We know in all history of freedom, somebody had to get free first. Thank you, more please. Where does this feeling come from? No one cares about me. Well, it comes from our past experiences, okay? It could exist in your childhood. It could be past rejection. Some of us got rejected when we were 10 years old horribly, and it just set this idea. Or someone disappointed us. Someone hurt our feelings. Maybe a caretaker hurt our feelings. This is real. A lot of us have these experiences. A past caretaker hurt our feelings. We felt rejected and pushed out by someone who was supposed to represent caretaking. I mean, I have stories upon stories of this personally. Or maybe you engage relationships where people were unavailable or neglectful. And let's be very clear, folks. Maybe they weren't unavailable or neglectful because they're bad people. Maybe life happened to them the way it's happening to everyone else. Maybe life happened to them in the ways it's happening to everyone else. Maybe they had a bad day. But these past experiences, if we hold on to them as core memories that run the entire machine, then you can see logically where the feeling that no one cares about me comes from. And people walk around with this hypnotic rhythm going all day. We talked about this a little earlier, but I just want to note one more time that social media and societal pressures can distort our sense of being loved and cared for. And we're constantly comparing our behind the scenes with others' highlight reels. Remember, what people are showing you on social media, I'm one of the most visible people on social media, truthfully. And I mean, I am friends with and amongst lots of entertainer people and people that are in the business of show. And I show my behind the scenes and my kitchen, country kitchen, way more than others, but there's a lot of highlights of my life also out. We cannot continue to compare our personal behind the scenes with others' highlight reels. Let's talk about something that I recently discovered through my therapeutic partnerships. There are these things, if you can believe it, called cognitive distortions. Okay? Cognitive distortions. Cognitive, of course, meaning around the mind. Distortions meaning not clear. These mind thoughts and mind viruses that we have that are not clear. They can really cause problems for us. And this is something that I'm healing as well. in open spaces. Two cognitive distortions that we can talk about today are all or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is a root cause of no one cares about me. Let's say that you're having a bad day and you reach out to a friend who's also busy that day and they do not respond to you. And you say, well, because they didn't respond to me today, they've never loved me. Either they loved me, they gave me all their love, or they have no love for me. That all or nothing thinking is a trauma response. It is a cognitive distortion, and it will harm you. Self-harm. Catastrophizing. Thinking that the sky's always falling, that bad things are going to happen, and being very paranoid about the future. I do these things as well. I have a team around me that attempts to talk me out of it. They do the best they can. But we've also been expressing in this community that you don't know enough about your life to be a pessimist. You don't know enough about your life to be pessimistic. You owe it to yourself to be hopeful because things could work out. You're going to have to do the works to get the perks, but it really could work out for you. If you believe in yourself, if you improve your self-concept. And we have to be very, very careful with these cognitive distortions because it's very easy to interpret one rejection or one moment of loneliness as global evidence that no one cares. You have to be very, very careful to not magnify these negative spaces in life. You're going to be rejected by someone and somebody. Maybe a group of people are going to reject you. You're going to be alone with yourself, you know. My partner works outside of the home traditionally, so I work here and I am alone. Eventually, whether it's in the shower, on the toilet, or in some space of life, you're going to be by yourself, and maybe the feeling of loneliness will creep in, but you cannot let that be evidence that you're alone and that no one loves you and that no one supports you. You know, that's just simply not true. Woo. Let's move forward into talking about the power of our thoughts. I'm not going to get too far into my teachings about the quantum field today because that's crazy with a K. But let's talk a bit about the power of our thoughts. Okay? Our feelings are following our thoughts. Okay? Our emotions and our thoughts are intertwined. We talk a lot in this community about the 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we all have every day. And how those thoughts and feelings and emotions are all intertwined, but the feelings come after the thoughts. Remember, thoughts become things. Thoughts become feelings. You start feeling good. Oh, wow, I can book this show. Oh, wow, I can cast this play. Oh, wow, I can get this job. Oh, wow, I can get this raise. But it all starts with, I deserve to get this raise. And then you start feeling that. And then the feeling moves into the action, and the action becomes your life, you know? And dwelling on the feeling and vibration that no one cares about me can reinforce those negative emotions. And our minds just start bouncing like an echo chamber. So just identifying the idea that no one cares about me and my work is an excellent start. Just seeing, like, as I go through my day, how often do I feel that no one cares? And Is the social media complex reflecting that back to me? And is it true or not? And just identifying the thought patterns. Remember, we said in this community a while ago that the whole name of and game of deprogramming, the whole name and game of deprogramming our lives and programming ourselves towards the good. It's all about having new people, new thoughts, and new patterns. New people to call, new relationships. So in order to heal right now in our lives, I've decided that I need new relationships, new thoughts, and new patterns. And I know that a lot of humans out there don't believe that they can change. But yes, you can change. Yes, you can change. And not only can you change, but you can change for the better. Start identifying these thought patterns. Start identifying these thought patterns. And then decide which thought patterns that are negative in your life that you want to exchange for something positive. I'm going to stop there with part 1. I think I'll do part 2 in the 2 o'clock session, shifting your perspective as it relates to this feeling that no one cares about me. And I always know when I'm talking about something spicy because that's when the people... But love is still on the throne, you guys. We got to start identifying our negative beliefs, our limiting beliefs, our cognitive distortions, these ideas that we have that cause us harm. Aren't you tired of hurting? Aren't you tired of being in pain? So yeah, you're always invited into my happy. Please be responsible for the energy that you bring into my happy, but you're always welcome into my happy. And if you're out there today and you're looking for a community of hope and belonging, I would love to invite you into Love in Action Network. And you can create your membership accounts and get into our quick app and find out more about our directory and our online store, newsletter, and events all on the site. Right now, it's October 10th, but I'm casting for Concerts of Hope Christmas, a love experience with Dr. Flo. And so if you know of talent within 30 miles of 27292, send them my way, because I think we can make some magic in this last 3 months of the year. And so I am accepting applications and auditions also on the site. You can learn more about our people and what we bring to the world, and our practitioners here also on the site. And check out our resources. We've got feelings and emotion wheels there, and positive and negative emotions resources, self-harm resources for those of you who need that kind of support to speak up for the 800,000. I'm not here for healed people. I'm called to raise the vibration of hope and self-awareness. So if you want to go and check out the resources, you can. If you want to donate to our causes, maybe you also want to send lovely items as our community does. And once again, shout out to Angie. Happy birthday to you. You're loved and lovable. And if you'd like to send things from the Amazon wish list or whatever, please do so at lovedlovable.bio.link, and just know that we're always grateful. I heard talk in the grapevine of TikTok yesterday that there are creators who are receiving kindness from strangers and not being gracious about it. So, to clear the air and to sage once again, I pray that all influencers and creatives are gracious in the receiving of their gifts. However, if they are not, let us be grateful for all that we have to give, and all that we can give, and all that we will give to the world. Thank you so much for being with me along the path and the journey. I'm grateful for every eyeball and eardrum. I'm grateful to be lifting something powerful and magical with all of you. And until next time, I pray and I hope and I will, and I intend into the universe that you and I will stay in our power, that we will stay in our joy, and that we will remain always loved and lovable.